So you've cheated or you've been cheated on. We get this call quite often of people on both sides saying, what happens now? How does the cheating, how does the adultery affect an asset division? And unfortunately, we have to let people know, or fortunate for them, that it really doesn't do much of anything. Now, there's a little caveat to that, because if you have gone out and spent a ton of money on somebody that you're dating that is not within your marriage, there can be an argument that that money should come back in. But it is very, very difficult to actually have that situation happen. And typically, cheating, although it's a moral dilemma, the courts aren't dealing with it. It does not affect asset division one way or another. If there's a cheating situation and the other parent is with somebody who really you look at and you say, this is not good for my children. Now, just because it's another party doesn't mean in and of itself they're not good for your children. So let's just make that comparison quickly. But if they have a criminal record, if there's, they have lost their children due to DCF action, there's a lot of different things that a court would likely look at and say, this person should not be around the children. If that's the case, you can actually file in court and ask for the judge to order that your children not be allowed near this person when they're having parenting time with the other parent. That being said, it is incredibly difficult, and I get it, to release your children to somebody that your partner has cheated on you with. However, always keep in mind, the more contested things are, the more high emotions there are, all it does is create more stress within your family, within your children, within moving forward. It can make the litigation process much more complicated. And I'm not saying to just sit back and say, oh, they cheated, oh well. But try not to let that dictate how you move forward. If there is a true safety concern, yes, 100% bring that up. But if you're just not happy that they cheated and you don't want your children around them because you're upset about it, that's something that we need to start working through, because if this is somebody who is going to be there long term, obviously the court is not going to prevent them from being around your children way in the future. However, if your partner is jumping from person to person and bringing a lot of people, or there's a possibility of bringing a lot of people around your children, that also might be a reason a judge could order that the children not be in the presence of a third party. So it can be pretty complicated, and what you really want to make sure is that you have an attorney on your side who understands the importance of keeping your children safe and making sure that the situation that they're in is best for them, while also trying to de-escalate any high-running emotions so that the divorce or your custody litigation can be really efficient and move forward to try to get you out of the process as quickly as possible as well. Does cheating have an impact on alimony? Now, I know there's some states where if you catch your spouse cheating on you, that means alimony is off the table. Massachusetts is not one of those states. And this can be really, really hard for people, especially the person who has to pay if they're the person that got cheated on, because it doesn't seem fair. It doesn't seem fair that your marriage was destroyed and now you have to pay the person who cheated on you. But this is where removing the emotions from the process becomes very, very important, because the court is not going to take that into consideration when determining whether alimony is appropriate or not. In Massachusetts, cheating also does not have any implication or effect on child support. The child support calculation is pretty black and white, and cheating is not a factor of how that goes into that calculation. So no, cheating does not affect child support at all. If you've either cheated and you're afraid of what's going to happen, or maybe you've been cheated on and you're also afraid of what's going to happen, feel free to give us a call. We'll work with you to make sure that you're safe, to make sure that your children are safe, but we'll also really trying to de-escalate the high emotions that can come on when there's a situation of cheating. So if that's you, feel free to give us a call.